Hey Flyer fans, hanging out in the dugout at AES Ohio Stadium in Warner Field. Really excited, and the new baseball coach in Scott Loiseau. Coach, welcome to Dayton.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
This has got to be a crazy stretch for you and your family. I guess first, talk about the job and taking over the baseball program here at UD and your excitement.
Yeah, obviously super excited about the opportunity to be here. I think I've been very fortunate in my career. I've been at some really good places with some really good people, and that's a super important part of, I think winning and having a successful program is surrounding yourself with really good people. And one of the draws here was when I came up here and was able to meet the staff and everybody, it felt like home, and it felt like the people here were amazing, and my family could fit in, and that was honestly the biggest part of it and the decision for me. And certainly having Coach King here as my college coach, being part of the program, he had nothing but good things to say. So we're really excited to be here for sure.
I want to talk about that connection with Coach King in a little bit, but before discussing, I know you've been busy on the recruiting trail and trying to get your staff in place. Talk about your team at home, because you have quite the group with your house, and I know this moving situation, but some wonderful ladies in your life.
Yeah, so obviously I actually met my wife, Haley, in college at Franklin Pierce, where I played for Coach King. I mean, that was in 2001 here, so we've had a good run. And then, so she's been with me through all this stuff. And then we had 4 little girls: Lily, Summer, Mila, and Blake. Lily's 11, Summer's 8, Mila's 6, and Blake's 4. And then Haley's mother, Mimi, is with us, and she will cook for anybody, and she's incredible. The guys will get fed very well. There'll be plenty of cookies around the dugout for sure.
It sounds like a terrific support staff.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your staff here at UD, because I know you just welcomed in a new coach.
Yeah, so the staff, we were able to put together a really good staff. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, in terms of, a big part of, I think, of, having a winning culture and having a great program is certainly the people around you being really good. And, I know that the staff here, like I said, one of the reasons I took it was because of the people here. And I was able to, I think, get some really good people to help me out, in the program with the players. Tom Rispoli, associate head coach at New Haven. I've known him a long time. He was an outstanding player, mentor. He'll be amazing for our guys. And then we kept Coach Sass, Pete Sass, we kept him on staff. Coach King had nothing but great things to say, and every interaction I've had with Pete has been incredible. He's really good at recruiting, and he's been instrumental in putting this program together with Coach and getting the right players here. Obviously, they had an incredible team. And then I hired up for the pitching coach, one of the guys that actually played for me for a couple years, Joshua Burge, who just graduated from Georgia. He's had an outstanding career, and he's a high-octane guy, ton of energy, super passionate about baseball, and probably the most competitive player I've ever coached. And that's something to say, because I've had some pretty good players.
Well, your resume is really impressive, and you look at your time at Southern New Hampshire and 480 wins, multiple trips to the College World Series in D2. He was a part of some of those teams, and it's wild, because we were chatting. He was just a game away from going to the College World Series at every level: Division III, Division II, and Division I.
Yeah, Josh has had a crazy run. So he started at Wheaton College, incredible D3 program, super well coached at Wheaton, and they had a College World Series run, and he was a huge part of it there. And when he graduated, he came over to Southern New Hampshire, and we had him for 2 years, and he was a huge part of our program, pitching, leadership, and started for us and pitched out of the pen, and had 2 years, and he had 2 trips to the College World Series with us. So I think it was 3 in a row, or 3 out of 4 or whatever. And then because of COVID and all that stuff, he actually had 1 more year, and he transferred to Georgia last year and was part of that run, and they lost in Game 3 of the Super. So he was one win away from playing in all 3 College World Series.
And I would like to think that he might have been the first ever to
I don't know, but I would think
like
so. I mean, it took him 7 years, so I would think that probably, yeah.
Well, and I think like the experience that he's been able to gain of just like talking to kids and what that move is of playing college baseball. Let's discuss recruiting, because I know when you come in, you're trying to just figure out the lay of the land.
Yep.
How has it been out there?
It's been great. I think, obviously having Pete has been a huge asset for me in terms of the current roster, right? Like understanding like who the current guys are. Obviously didn't have a ton of opportunity to see these guys or the incoming guys, and you can do your homework and all that, but it's not the same as like having been involved in the recruiting process or coaching process. So having a guy like that who's been on the inside that has built relationships with these players and these families and has had success doing it here, I think has been instrumental in the transition for sure. It's made my life way easier. And so we've been able to communicate a bunch this summer. Obviously, between being on the road with different players and finishing up this class here and getting excited about the 2025 class and having some offers out there and organizing our 26s here that we need to make some phone calls here shortly in a couple weeks. So we've been able to hit the ground running a little bit, I think, honestly, because of Pete.
You have some tremendous ties to the Northeast with just your experience as a head coach at Southern New Hampshire. You jump over to Penn State associate head coach role. It was a really successful year in Happy Valley, but I'd like to think, although it's not down the road, it's a lot closer. And sort of being there for a year, has that helped in sort of the recruiting process of maybe understanding Ohio?
Yeah, I think that was a huge asset for me in terms of like you said, being at Penn State, I was able to recruit this area a little bit. We were in Ohio a little bit, we're in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. I don't know that we got too much into Michigan, but you're talking about these surrounding states that now we were able to make a few connections with and start to get an understanding of like who some of the schools that are going to be involved in on certain players. So honestly, that was huge for me in terms of this transition, because it would have been harder had I been in New Hampshire the whole time and then came here. But having that year of understanding what the area looks like and who some of the people that are important pieces in this whole thing, so that's definitely going to help for sure.
Scott Loiseau is the new head baseball coach here at the University of Dayton as we're hanging out at AES Ohio Stadium in Warner Field. Coach, obviously the excitement of you taking over the program, but another big story for Dayton baseball this summer was Nick Wisman a couple weeks ago getting drafted in the major leagues by the Padres organization. He's the highest draft pick that Dayton's ever had. A local kid from the area. I know that you didn't coach him, but does that help in the recruiting process and what you've experienced here in the summer?
Yeah, I think that anytime your players are getting opportunities to move on to the next level, I think obviously that's every kid's dream, and going to college is that next step for a lot of these guys, and proving that in your program you can have guys that can come in, develop, and get opportunities like that is certainly something that the best players are looking for. So if you can do those sorts of things for your guys, and Coach King, and the whole staff did a great job with him, and getting that opportunity, not only for him but his teammates and the program. I think that's a big part of recruiting in any program.
And trying to sell players and being future flyers. And then I guess also now taking over the program and just your everyday dealings with your players currently. What's your style? And I guess for the fans too, what can they expect and coming out here and watching your club looking ahead towards spring 2025?
I think that there would be some pretty close similarities to Coach King's style. I remember I did play with him for 4 years and coached with him for 4 years. I think, the things that are going to be, hopefully will be an exciting team to watch play. Definitely in general, I'm pitcher defensive driven. I think over the long haul, that gives you the most chance to win the most games. And certainly at the end of the year, it gives you a chance to be in every game, which, sometimes the playoff baseball comes down to one hit or one mistake or things like that, and certainly want to be fast and hopefully, run the bases really well and do all the little things it takes to win ball games late in the season. So, I think that's some of the stuff people could expect, hopefully.
You mentioned playoff baseball and obviously a lot of experience. Your success at Division II in Southern New Hampshire, going to the College World Series there. Last year it was unique because it's your first year at Penn State, and the Nittany Lions get hot, and you guys get that 8th seed, find yourself in the tournament. You knock off the top seed Illinois. You beat Michigan a couple of times, and then you're playing in the championship game, and what was sort of a mini College World Series
it was
because
a good environment.
It's in Omaha. You're playing Nebraska. Just describe what it was and sort of your first year at Penn State, but then sort of the group that you had and what you were able to accomplish in the quick turnaround.
Yeah, so I think Coach Gambino did a great job, and Nick Puccio, of like putting together a group really quickly, and we're able to get some experienced hitters, some older guys that have played a bunch, and it took us, obviously the first year you have a whole new staff, a whole new group of coaches, and kind of a new team too. Like maybe only half the team was there, or just over half the team was back. So you had a lot of people trying to figure some things out. Throw in the fact that you don't have a field for the fall. We're off site trying to manage that, and then you get into the winter and you're preparing indoors. And so I think honestly it just took us a little bit longer than it would normally to learn how to compete together and be in the same dugout together. And as we did it more and more, and Coach did a good job down the stretch of relaying good positive messages for the guys, and then they did a great job of, I think, just kind of competing all the way through. I mean, we were, I think, down 3 in the 9th of a must-win game and scored 4. We were down 2 and scored 4 in the bottom of the 9th to walk off to even give us a chance to win the next 4 games, right? And then you win that game, then you sweep Maryland at Maryland, and before you know it, you're kind of off and running a little bit. And we were playing good baseball at the end. We played our best baseball of the season, certainly at the end, and I think that was a big part of just, honestly, all of it, the year kind of coming together a little bit.
Well, and that's the scary thing about baseball, is because not always is the best team playing the best baseball at the right time.
Sure.
And it makes it exciting, and I think that's sort of the buzz that we've seen here in the last couple of years of folks really getting into college baseball. Sort of with that, your success in the Northeast, I know that it's just 1 year at Penn State, but that's a Nittany Lion group that goes to the championship game in the Big Ten for just the 2nd time in program history. What is it about sort of your teams and trying to turn that switch and make it about winning? Because it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, no, I don't have a great answer for that, other than I do think the most important thing is the people. We had incredible veteran leadership in that clubhouse. I mean, and being at Southern New Hampshire and having all those years, the older guys, once you get a good group of leaders through, the younger guys coming through, they know what it needs to look like. Not getting too corny here, but like just keeping it simple, and it's just a game, and trying to get through that process and trusting each other to compete as hard as they can. And then it just comes about the people. And if you have, we had guys like Adam Cesari and JT Marr and, a slew of other guys, though, that had been through so much together in a veteran lineup. I think, those guys just kept playing. They just kept playing. They just always kept playing. And when you can have a team that'll just keep playing and keep playing, you're going to have a shot in those games. And go back to my beginning here. If you have good pitching and play defense, then you should be in it. So.
I'm interested in you talking about defense and pitching when I look at your numbers as a player, because you were a really good hitter at Franklin Pierce. And I know that you had mentioned Coach King. Yeah. Do you have a good Coach King story when you were a player?
I have a few. This is back in the '99 to 2002. I don't know if some of these stories will make it right now. No, I have unbelievable things to say about that guy. He's been an incredible person in my life. He was in my wedding. He drove me, you know, he made me such a better person with my time with him, and he inspired me to, you know, to want to get into college coaching. And this certainly wasn't a plan for me. Like out of the gate, I really didn't know what I was going to do, but I just knew I loved baseball and wanted to be around it. And you know, he gave me an opportunity to be with him, under him as a coach too, and see how he did things. And you know, he made such a big impact on my life. I just felt like if I could just do that for one guy, it would be worth it. So, you know, I think that's probably the best thing I can say about it. I mean, there's plenty of stories of him, you know, beating us up a little bit and, you know, being aggressive, being competitive, and he's been outstanding for me for sure.
And I'm sure in sort of making this transition, because it's probably hard, and what you were coming off last year at Penn State and now jumping in back into that head coaching role, what a terrific soundboard than a person that you have a lot of respect for who was actually in it. I guess with that said, what are you looking forward to most now in this new challenge? Yeah,
so obviously, you know, for I think 14 or 15 years I've been a head coach. You know, Coach Gambino, and he gave me a great opportunity to go to Penn State and be part of that. And you know, he really let me do my thing, which was really nice. And I think just, you know, having the opportunity to kind of do what I was, I guess, comfortable doing, or what I've been kind of doing in my career. I was at a small private, Dayton's a small private. There's just a lot of the things kind of aligned for me where I just, you know, for me, it just feels really comfortable. It's something I've been kind of doing the majority of my career. So it feels like I'm at home, you know, kind of deal. So.
Welcome. We are so happy
to
have you on board,
and
we're looking forward to watching your group and seeing sort of how that takes place here as you move forward. Best of luck. Coach, thanks again.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
For more information, all things Dayton Flyer Athletics, DaytonFlyers.com. Make sure you follow us. Social media @Dayton Flyers.